One of the hard parts that you have to experience is what happens when you find yourself in a situation where you're waiting for a decision that's coming, what I call any day now. And I talked about this in other videos, but it's important to understand that when you're at this point, you need to start asking those additional follow-up questions if you haven't done so, if you have an attorney. If you got somebody representing you, it makes it a little bit easier. But what you want to start asking ahead of time when you get to the point where you start saying, okay, a decision is coming in any day now, drill down and figure out, okay, what's going to happen next? Meaning, if the decision that you're waiting for is going to be in your favor, what happens next? Does what you're looking for happen overnight? Is it going to be something that takes a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months? Start drilling down, asking those questions so that you know ahead of time exactly what's going to happen. Then the other thing is, what happens if things don't go your way? You're going to want to know, is there a period of time that you can take additional action? Are there any appeals rights? Usually what happens in a lot of decisions, especially in civil court, there will be an indication letting you know that what your rights are going forward if you want to appeal. Sometimes they don't have it expressly in there. So if you've got an attorney that's practicing that area of law, they will probably tell you ahead of time, okay, if we don't get the outcome we're looking for, this is what's going to happen next. And then of course, in addition to that, you want to know if there's anything you can do in the interim to strengthen your case. Sometimes what happens is that there are certain cases, depending on where you're at, where once the case is before the court, there's really not a whole lot you can do to strengthen it. Like if you're doing like appellate work, like a case where you appealed a case going up to a higher court, a lot of times the court is not going to let you supplement the record with additional things that the lower court didn't have the opportunity to see. But then again, it just really depends on the court that you're going through, whether it's veterans, whether workers' comp, things of that nature, because there may be certain limited circumstances where they will allow you to submit things. So you want to know ahead of time, what are those things? So when you're finding yourself in these holding patterns, and one more thing, if after you've asked those two questions and so forth, ask yourself how much longer do you think you have to wait on before you get that decision? Because that may also not only tell you how long it's going to take before you get a decision, and it may come sooner than that or longer, so don't lose your mind if that happens, but you may use that time to do something necessary to help strengthen your case. So this way you're not surprised and you're not finding yourself in a situation where you're like, oh man, well now I know it's going to be a couple of months before a decision. I can use that time to shore up whatever I need to or prepare myself for whatever outcome that's coming. Either way, use this time wisely. So this way you're in a position where you can make sure that you have an understanding of what's going to automatically happen next once you get the decision, and if there's anything you can do in the interim to put yourself in a better position, both mentally and actually with regards to your case.